Well, yeah, basically that's what started all this was the Magna Carta, and because the people felt they were getting a raw deal in by the king and stuff, so they wanted a better way to handle things when they had to appear for something. So the Magna Carta was instigated to start that process, and from that then we started. Columbus came over, and all English law was brought over with the colonials. Unfortunately, England, as we have now found out, was not the first on the land. The Irish king was the first on the land some 130 years before Columbus ever landed. So the English actually do not have lawful claim to the land, even though they came in and basically settled it. They actually stole the land from the Indians.
Yeah.
We found treaties that go back with England and Spain, to where England and Spain made an agreement to go to war with the Native Americans to steal their land. So, yeah, we've uncovered a lot of things.
I was going to ask about that the Magna Carta wasn't an easy thing to bring about. There was some bloodshed and struggle.
Well, there were a lot of people lost their lives over. I mean, anytime you go against the crown, you're taking a chance. So I mean, there were a lot of deaths. Yeah.
I think you were telling me that a lot of royalty didn't agree, and they lost their lives.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of knights at that time felt the same way, and they went to bat for the common man, and yeah, they paid a heavy price for it. So you have to remember when Columbus came over here from England, his job was to establish
he was from Spain,
colonies.
right?
Huh?
Columbus came from Spain.
Well, he tried to get loans from all the European countries, ended up coming in out of Spain, yeah, but basically he settled the thing for England, yeah.
It's probably a whole nother story.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of double cross back in the days.
Yeah, he ended up dying penniless and alone.
Yeah.
After getting.
But you have to remember, his ships were full of things which they wanted to establish trade in the U.S., or what the New World, as they called it then. And they set up trading companies, and it was all commerce. At first, it was all about trade. And so all your incorporations and your trading posts, and there were just a whole bunch of things that were established, and they began actually just to pilferage the New World for the benefit of England and in Spain.
With a legal framework to do so.
Yeah. So they basically walked in, formed a government, wrote laws which the Indians couldn't even read or understand, forced them into signing agreements, some at gunpoint, some with alcohol, drunked up. So indirectly, they just basically did whatever they wanted to get their purpose.
And a lot of those treaties, even though they were signed illegally or under inducement, they didn't honor them anyway.
They didn't honor any of them.
Yeah.
And that's why the Indians are upset today, is because they breached all the treaties. There's 4,300 treaties, 3,000 tribes. They haven't been paid in 300 years. They're owed more money than probably all the major nations in the world today wouldn't even have enough money to cover the debt. If you figure the interest rates and all the stuff they're entitled to 20% of all manufacturing. They own the corporations. They leased the land to the Americans. They weren't stupid. They didn't give them the land, they leased it to them. So basically every American sitting here today is on leased land from the Indians, which the English decided to steal and then sell it to you and give you a title to a land that they actually knew didn't belong to them. So, yeah, we've been had.
And back then, one of the things about the revolution was the total domination by corporations, trading companies, and early corporations in this country were given a limited time span only to serve the public good, and then they started getting more and more rights because they have money.
They actually, as the population grew, they just kept forcing the Indian off his land, and then they would say, oh, he abandoned the land. No, he didn't abandon it, he was forced off of it, and then they made illegal claim to the fact that he had abandoned it.
But what I was getting at was that the corporations, like almost everything's incorporated nowadays, but back then there was a disdain for corporations like there's a disdain for communism, right? I mean, back then, if you only did a corporation if you really needed to.
Well, back then it was a trading company. That's
what they called it, right? But it was a corporation in
disguise,
structure.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get clear is that today corporations are real commonplace and people get incorporated all the time. But back then, to be incorporated was kind of a nasty word.
Well, first of all, let's understand the word incorporation. Unless you, as an individual, apply for corporate status, you are not a corporation. In other words, you either apply for a federal corporation or a state corporation. But if you have never applied for one, you are not a corporation, and no one can make you a corporation. It's identity theft. If your name, the way they identify a corporation is your name is in all caps letters. Okay, so if you're a corporation and your name is in the all caps letters and you have applied for a corporation paperwork, then that's lawful. But what is illegal is the fact that someone, state, federal, local, is putting your name in the all caps form. That would be your name, every letter capitalized, first and last. They have stolen your identity and made you a corporation.
Or a credit card company.
A credit card company, a bank. Yeah, any of them. Your driver's license. You go to court, your name is in the all caps letters. Why? Because of the commerce value of it. So remember, everything is about commerce in these crooked courts. They bring you into their system. You're a corporation. You are not a sovereign. Your name upper lower case meaning you're a sovereign. If you are in the all upper lower case or upper case, they have classified you as a corporation, and that is identity theft.
And I've heard a lot of commercials trying to get people to see the benefits of being incorporated. Is that like fraud by inducement too?
Yeah.
That there's a benefit to it?
Well, there's benefits to it if you're a company.
But as an individual...
But if you're an individual, I mean, how are you going to benefit from being a corporation? Let me ask you this. The IRS has everybody listed in uppercase, meaning you're a corporation, okay? Where are your tax benefits? Where were your tax write-offs, your allowances for depreciation of anything? You see, corporations...
All the food we should be getting a tax break for.
We should be equal. It's discrimination.
Yeah, because those are supplies to enable us to carry on commerce.
That's right. That's right. But what they're doing is they're claiming you as a corporation so they can tax the crap out of you. And then they're defrauding you on the tax laws, because if you look at your 1040 form, people, where's your allowance for depreciation of anything like your automobile, your house? Your heating bills would be a total expense.
But we don't want to
under a corporation, that would be a total expense.
But we don't want to be corporations because there's more power in being a sovereign.
Yes.
Because you're explaining to me how it's in our legal system that a corporation cannot sue a person.
Well, first of all, a corporation is not a human being.